Is that, for all of you, the most enjoyable part of the job, the process? I mean, I don't know how better to describe it in terms of what you enjoy most about your profession. I'll start with you, Lupita. What gives you the most satisfaction and joy?
Yes, I think it is the process. It's the most enjoyable and the scariest thing as well. I mean, from the minute I land a role, then it's like terror, because it's like now I have to do it, and it's that uncomfortable stage where you still don't know what you're doing yet, and you're trying to find it. So it's uncomfortable, but then it's also so rewarding because you're the most curious in that stage, and if you are allowing yourself to dive in, then you're discovering things at every turn. I mean, with 12 Years a Slave being my first film, it was the first time that I was going into a project without a traditional theatrical rehearsal period, and so I had to figure out how to prepare on my own, and imagine my scene players. I mean, it was so odd, and it was a daily trial, and I figured stuff out, and then it was about getting there and letting go of all that, and just being in the moment with Chiwetel and Michael and Alfie and Steve and so on. So it's the most exciting. It's the most exciting time, that making it and discovering new things.
Would you describe it the same way, Oscar?
Definitely. And I don't know if this was what it was like for you, but coming from the theater as well, the biggest adjustment I had to make at first was the finality of the day. And going home every day and being like, that was it. That was my one shot at getting it, Hope they got it, because, and then going through the whole thing and be like, nope, didn't do it. Oh, that's what it was. And not being able to come back the next day and try that new idea. I think that was a big adjustment to try to make. And so, yes, now it's when you see the full movie and it's like, I could, that's why I can't see it. I can see it a couple times, but then it's diminishing results afterwards, and I just start tearing it apart. But it is, I think that's exactly.
Forrest, would you describe it similarly in terms of like what Lupita describes,
exactly
both the exhilaration and the terror?
Yeah, like the discovery, the energy between the people, the movement, the feeling. You know what I mean? That's the exciting part. I mean, at a certain point, it's done, and so the process is when it's alive, when it becomes its own sort of organism. It's tangible. You know what I mean? And I'm connecting with this person, and we're like trying to figure something out, and we're doing it again and again. Maybe we're not talking about it, we're just jumping, and that's a great thing. And to keep learning, what a great thing, to keep like exploring, keep trying to find something new, you know what I mean? Until it's done, as you said, and then it's in someone else's hands.
What about you? What about on your side? About what is the greatest pleasure? What is the thing that you most enjoy about being an actor?
Oh, God.
Besides panels like this.
Obviously,
because I know that's
this is one of the main perks. I just love the play. The play, when you go onto a set, you go into the. Actually, this is kind of nice, this magic circle, because say we were acting and not doing this, and we had to do a scene, and we just got something, and we just had to do it. How much fun would we have? Because you know that you're with people who can really do it, so it doesn't matter what you do, they're going to come back at you with something, and then you don't know how you're going to react. I mean, that's so exciting. It's a wonderful way of working, and Lupita, that's like what you get in the rehearsal process when you're doing theatre, but you kind of get it in the moment on film, because if those cameras catch some part of your soul, they were right, those tribespeople. Anyway, but unlike Harrison, actually, I having finished that gorgeous bit, I love going to see the film to see what everyone else has done. The musicians, the Foley artists, the sound balance, the way in which it's all been put together by all the other artists who've worked on it, because it's such a magical combination of artists and people and the crew, everyone who then does their bit. That's what I find thrilling, and I sit there in the cinema thinking, what have they all done? I can't wait to see, Your turn.
I think that's right. I think it's about the most exciting moments are when you're with the other actors, I think, and that's the bit when you're seeing somebody else's work and preparation, dedication, craft just come alive in front of you, and you are in the moment of meeting that, of sending back energy, and you're in a dialogue, you're in a dance, and so those are great moments when you're working with actors that you admire and respect, and they're kind of bringing this, these performances. I mean, when we were doing 12 Years a Slave, that was the sort of delight of it. Was what Lupita was bringing, and what Michael Fassbender was bringing, what Paul Giamatti was bringing. What people came to those characters with, and that kind of keeps it alive in the day and keeps it alive in the moment. So that's really, I think, for me, the most exciting point of it.
Does film acting make you want to do more theater? Does theater acting make you want to do more film? Because you're describing a process that in theater is recurrent, whereas film, it's very fractional, that you're doing that maybe for a minute or maybe 30 seconds and you're resetting. Are they different muscles, or is it just the same muscles exercised in a slightly different way?
I think it's a totally different thing, film acting and theater acting. It's actually, it just speaks to what you were saying before as well, Oscar, that about the idea of going home at the end of the day. I was just doing a play recently in London, and that's the gift of it. That you go, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to do that scene differently. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm going to make that bit work, I'm going to change that. And you're also, you've got, doing 8 shows a week or whatever, and you've got, and you're thinking about stagecraft, and you're thinking about hitting the back of the auditorium, thinking about saving your voice, you're thinking about how am I going to negotiate this week, and sort of deal with the pressures of doing this show, And in a way, when you're doing a film, you forget all of that. You're just in the moment. It is like skin, and I think that's the distinction. But that's also one of the great things about doing theatre, that it just you're working on a totally different muscle, I think.
And you can be backstage talking about casseroles. I normally put the onions in first, but you should never do that. So hang on a minute. You go on stage. You come at, and then you put the garlic in. But don't mess up with the paprika. And literally, that's what you do. Is it not so? Yes. And that's a great way of getting your muscles going, actually, because if you can do that, you can do anything, really.
It's true, and also, you dictate rhythm and pace, and you're your own editor on stage. And that's why I think a lot of really great stage actors have become great film actors, because they have that innate rhythm, and I don't have to just make picking up the glass and then drinking it interesting. It's the whole process of it. You have to live through that whole motion. So I think that's something that's quite different, and I love about it. But what's also that beautiful thing of going home and getting another chance to do it at night is also its curse as well of theater, because that's a long time to do the same thing over and over again, and on those nights where it's just, what else can I mine from this thing? That's hard.
I don't do theater I haven't done theater for a long time. But one of the things I love about filmmaking is the urgency of having to get it on the day within this given period of time, and everybody's waiting around for you to get it right, and you will, get it as close as you can, and then patience is going to wear thin, or you're going to go on to something else, and you'll know that you didn't really get it, and that's a terrible feeling. So I love the commitment that comes when you're working on film, to get it today, not walk away till you get it. Invest, and also the other thing I love is the emotional exercise that you have amongst not just the actors that you're working with, but I feel the same way about the crew. I want to make that dolly track timing work out. And all of that stuff is, so you're working with this group of people. People in front of the camera, people behind the camera, on this, whatever the nugget of story is that you're working on that day. And there's a real, the word is urgency to get it right.